I'm Emily Brothers. I'm from the Labour Party. I've lived in Sutton now for 25 years, have 2 children who were born at St Helier Hospital and educated in local state schools. I have found my time in Sutton to be tremendous, and I welcome the opportunity to represent the community of which I have been welcomed over the last 25 years. Labour is about change and not about conserving the status quo for the privileged few. That is what I'm committed to deliver as your prospective Labour Member of Parliament, if elected. I'm committed, as is the Labour Party nationally, to economic strong foundations. That's about balancing the bucks. It's about effective measures to reduce the deficit, but to do it in a fair way, a recovery that everybody can share in rather than just the privileged few. We want to see higher living standards, so that is tackling gas and electricity bills that people find difficult to pay. So we will regulate the market. We will also increase the national minimum wage to £8 and ban zero-hour contracts. No more of the cost of living crisis that has been brought about due to austerity. Labour, at the core of what we do, is about the NHS. So we will invest in a time to care fund of £2.5 billion to pay for 20,000 more nurses and 8,000 more GPs, and a plethora of other measures we will bring in too to support our NHS. We'll also bring in fair controls on immigration, and a way to tackle the fears about immigration, in our view, is about tackling the zero-hour contract culture and low-wage economy. That's what we're committed to do. But also giving hope to the next generation by bringing in measures such as a vocational baccalaureate for young people. We will reduce tuition fees from 9,000 to 6,000. We will invest in the next generation. Thank you. All my conversations with Ed Miliband and other members of the Shadow Cabinet lead me to strongly believe that Labour is committed as a movement to bringing about change, tackling austerity, investing in our NHS and in education. We have a plethora of policies which have all been costed so that we can move into government with clear approaches to make changes right across the piece in terms of what we want to achieve for people. That's a shared recovery in terms of economics. It's about building 100,000 homes every year in the next Parliament to 1 million. It's about regulating the energy market. It's also, as part of that cost of living crisis, dealing with private rented tenures so people have more security in terms of introducing vocational baccalaureate. There are whole sweeping things that we in Labour want to achieve, and I believe we will deliver, and our Shadow Cabinet believe we will deliver from the 8th of May. That's what we're committed to do.
We have time for another.
We will bring down the deficit in the Parliament. We will tackle the national debt. We have all our proposals fully costed. We will not be borrowing more, like this coalition have borrowed £207 billion more than it planned to in 2010. So on that basis, no, and we are also very concerned with a Conservative government being elected that we will see cost of living go to 1930s levels. In fact, something like 35.2% of GDP will be the proportion of public spending that will have a serious impact on service delivery, health services, education, right across the board. And that is something that Labour will not do.
Thank you.
Have undertaken a zero budget review across all departments, and they recommend changes. So, for example, in terms of the Home Office, we will cut police and crime commissioners. That will save £500 million. So all those cuts to waste and efficiency savings are going to accumulate. Labour have also costed all of our proposals. So in terms of the NHS Time to Care Fund will come from a mansion tax on properties of over £2 million. We will reintroduce the 50p tax rate, and that will be about sharing the burden more fairly across people in society. So we are looking at balancing the books. Cost of living crisis is hitting people here in Sutton and Cheam every day. We've already heard about food banks, but in terms of the loss of real term wages for the average family, £1,600, people are worse off, families are worse off. In terms of reduction in real terms in terms of tax and tax credits and benefits, families are £1,167 worse off since 2010. They are the effects of cost of living, and it having a real impact on people paying their energy bills, their food bills. For example, the coalition said they would bring up VAT, the Liberal Democrats and Conservatives. That's precisely what they did do. And they haven't ruled it out for another parliament if they are elected again. And that has a real impact on working families. So when they say they're not going to increase VAT, well, look at their record, because that's what they may well do.
Thank you. David.
A working class family in Liverpool, and went to a Catholic boarding school, and that experience stays with me today. Let me just tell you a brief story. I supported today the Read On, Get On campaign, and I did that because I learned to reread at the age of 10 again, learning Braille, because of my eyesight being lost. And that is why I'm passionate about education, about mainstreaming education. That's also because of eye operation as a child, that I am committed to the NHS. That personal experience has stayed with me. And part of that reading campaign was that it gave me the tools to go on in terms of education and a career and participate, and to strive for equality for me, for my family, and also for other people. Civil rights legislation, improved benefits and living conditions for other disabled people. Sharing, that is what is important to me.
Thank you.
Labour has a better plan for young people. We will reduce tuition fees from £9,000 to £6,000. We will also bring in apprenticeships for school leavers who meet the basic grades. We will change the structure of education, the approach to education, by bringing in vocational baccalaureate and technical degrees. We will invest in teaching through master teaching qualifications. We'll also bring about a job guarantee scheme for young people. We will bring about also votes at 16 for young people, giving young people a role in our communities and broader society. In terms of broken politics, I think that has been due to many promises being broken, and the Liberal Democrats on VAT and tuition fees is an example. We learned from the Iraq war by standing against intervention in Syria. That demonstrates that Labour is able to learn and will continue to do so. Recall, and so does Labour Party.